Here we are then, guys, back for some more F1 My Team here today, and this is the Austrian Grand Prix, and I'm looking forward to this one. A lot of people have said this is one of the best tracks on the game, so I'm very much looking forward to doing my first laps and seeing how the car handles around here. But first of all, as always, if you missed the previous episode, it was an absolute stonker, then go check it out, guys. The French Grand Prix will be linked in the top right. Also, the next race is Silverstone, and this will be the last race, I believe, with this livery. I've got something up my sleeve, and it's going to be a new livery for the rest of the season, so stay tuned for that. But this weekend, you can see in the background, we've got some pretty decent conditions, no rain expected. We've got a couple of upgrades on for the engine and the chassis. We then also look at the performance chart, and you can see we've actually gone back ahead of Alfa Romeo this weekend. So with those upgrades, we take a small step forward, but still everyone above us is a little bit of a step away still, so we need to try and cut that gap down. And we've got two chassis upgrades on the way, one of them being a major one, so hopefully that will help us out, take a big step in the right direction. But with that said, we move into the action this weekend at Austria, and this track, I will admit, was a lot of fun. They've reprofiled some curbs, and I actually quite like it. Having said that, I seem to have a lot of understeer and just not a lot of confidence in the car, and regardless of what I've done for the setup, it just seems to be a bit of a struggle for me. I'm lacking a bit of pace, so we'll see what happens in qualifying. But after practice, you can see we've got quite a few discounts on certain engine parts, which is going to be good for us, and we'll try and have a look at those later on at the end of the weekend. But with that, so we've moved to qualifying and into Q1, and we're going to see what happens. You know, I'm looking forward to this. We're going to see if we can try and have a decent session. Of course, in the last race at the French Grand Prix, we messed up big time. We started from last place, so I want to try and, you know, avoid a repeat of that if possible. So here we are in our first lap of the qualifying session, just getting to grips with the improved track conditions and the increased grip. Our first lap, though, is only good enough for last place, which was a bit of a surprise. I decided to go for a second consecutive push lap because we've got enough fuel and enough ERS, and my tyres aren't that bad. And I made a bit of a mistake heading up towards turn 3 here. I tried to brake a bit later. I ended up completely outbraking myself and missing the corner. So yeah, that was going to be it for my first run and my second time lap. We now skip towards the end of Q1, and we need this lap to stick. So this was my best lap in qualifying. Let's see if we can get off the bottom and see if we can try and move into Q2. And there we go, across the line, and unfortunately that lap is only good enough for P20. I tried to go again, but straight away out of turn 1 I ran wide, invalidating, and yeah, bit of a shame. I'm kind of like face palming at it because I don't know what it is around here, but I can't seem to find any pace. The car just doesn't seem to have a good window. I can't find any real performance. I'm struggling to get the front end to bite into the tarmac. I really am. I can't seem to get any performance out the front end, and the back end isn't fully stable. I'm sacrificing, you know, rear stability for front end pointiness, and it's not really working. So I'm kind of getting the worst of both, and I'm not super confident. You know, the setup doesn't feel great. So I don't know what we can do in the race, but we're going to try and do our best. We'll give it a shot and see if we can try and turn it around. We've done it last weekend in France, so we're going to try again here today in Austria. And yeah, we'll see if we can try and pull something out of the bag and make up for a poor qualifying. But anyway, that's it for Saturday. Let's move into the race.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve, as it was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the rundown into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Ricciardo, Perez, Max Verstappen and Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, Vettel and Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda and Lundgaard, Mazepin, Russell, Pierre Gasly, they've taken a grid penalty, and Martinez, Latifi, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Now this race promises to be very, very interesting. We start from P18, we benefit from some grid penalties to other people around us, and now the strategy is the really key thing this race, and it's the thing that I'm really not sure about. So we have 2 options that I've custom made. We have a 2-stopper, medium, medium, soft, or we have a 1-stopper, and doing the exact same thing as France in the last episode where we went to the hard tyre and then switched to the medium. It's looking pretty tricky. I really don't know what to go for here. Originally, the game said soft, medium, medium, and medium to hard. So I'll flip both strategies completely around. There is a chance maybe it could get a bit damp at the end. There is some cloud forming, but I don't think it's going to arrive. I don't think we'll see rain. Fuel-wise, I'm going to knock it down to 36 on the nose. I don't need to be any higher or any lower. I think that's pretty decent for us. My gut feeling here is going to make a decision, and I feel like just because of what happened in the last race, I'm going to go with what I know and the devil that I know rather than the devil I don't know. So we're going to stick with the hard tyre, and then we're going to move to the mediums later on. I think that's going to be the best option here. I'm going to make sure we adjust the fuel again, and we're going to send it. We're going to try and make these hard tyres work and see if we can find something in this race. So fingers crossed it all goes well, and the best thing we can do right now is send it. So let's jump into it. Okay, 5 red lights. Can we get a good start on hard? It's going to be difficult, but I'll try and do my best. The lights are on. And we are underway for the Austrian Grand Prix. Struggling for traction compared to everyone else. Looks like absolutely everyone is on softs, and we are down to pretty much last place, as we've got a Haas who's half spun there. That's Schumacher up the inside, having a look, but it didn't really work for him. Up towards turn 3. Let's see if we can find a bit of space. Maybe go for a bit of a lunge on these AI. We'll definitely take a few places back there as we go for a nice little safe dive. We'll just try and get Russell here as well if possible. And we're up to P17, so we've actually ended up gaining a place thanks to that move. We've got Mazepin ahead. But it looks like, in principle, everyone's on softs right now, so we are going to be, I think, in trouble. Dare I say, we may get overtaken by everybody, as I think I'm going to have a bit of a tough time trying to make these tyres work. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to try and do my best. If we can just weather the storm these first few laps, try and survive, and switch these tyres on, we could be okay. But right now you can see I'm struggling for grip massively as we try to hang on to the back of Nikita Mazepin. But I've just got so much understeer. This is the issue I've had all weekend. I just can't seem to get the front end to work. So here goes Russell already. Perez in the pit lane, I'm guessing due to damage. Russell actually thinks twice about the move and doesn't commit, so we're going to take the line through turn 1 and stay ahead of him. But right now you can see the gap already starting to grow to the cars ahead. Let's see if we can close up a little bit and try and catch up to Nikita Mazepin. But I've just got nothing, man. This grip is horrible right now. Oh boy, that's not good. First warning already for track limits. Not ideal. DRS will now be enabled, so I'm expecting Russell to pass us quite quickly, to be honest. Now the good news, it looks like we're pulling away from the cars behind, so only Russell is able to keep up with me. Speaking of Russell, I think he's going to pass me here. I'm not really going to fight it. I'm going to try and see if I can follow George. I'm going to see if I can use the slipstream and the 3 DRS zones to try and have him drag us along back up towards Mazepin. So let's see what happens. It's not really a big loss for us. We're just back down to P17, which is still a place up from where we started. So let's try and run with George Russell here and see if he can take us back towards the cars ahead.
Yellow flag.
Ooh, yellow. Virtual safety car. Okay. McLaren in the pit lane.
Caution, the virtual safety car has just been deployed due to a build-up of debris on the track.
Okay, fair enough. So not an actual incident, just debris on track. Ricciardo's going to get a free pit stop here. He's timed this beautifully in the McLaren, but we're now P16 thanks to that pit stop. And this strategy is working quite well in terms of sticking with George. We're not catching, but we're not dropping as fast as we were, so I don't mind. Worth noting, Lundgaard and Mazepin have actually dropped off from the pack ahead of them as well, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. The pace has definitely picked up after that virtual safety car. We set a personal best half a second quicker. Worth noting the Mercs out front are absolutely flying away this race. Seems to be a really strong track for them. Then there's a big pack of cars really behind, so we'll see how that goes. Right now you can see I'm just using Russell really as a way to get back into the race, or in this case stay in the race. Mazepin has overtaken Lundgaard as well, worth noting. So it looks like both myself and Lundgaard in the exact same position right now. Just got to keep chipping away, but I need to try and start making this tyre work. I feel like I want to pass Russell here and get the slingshot and just try and use the overspeed to cut down the gap to the 2 cars ahead. Let's see if we can get this move done. Here we go. In the slipstream of Russell, we're going to go to the outside. Long way around we go. That's the better line. You'll find more grip on the outside. And we're through. No DRS for us, but that's okay. Let's try and push a little bit. See if I can squeeze a bit of pace out of these tyres now that the softs will just start to fade a little bit, I think.
Christian is in the pits. Christian in the pits.
Yep. Christian Lundgaard in there, along with a bunch of other cars. I've timed this quite well actually. My pace has been pretty decent on these tyres. They're still not great. I don't think it's a good race tyre, but I can't say for certain because my pace also isn't great. But yeah, right now we're just keeping the pace going. I'm faster than Mazepin, so let's just keep that pace up as we get a bit sideways there and a bit crossed up. Verstappen and Ricciardo will be on us ASAP in no time. There we go, the remaining cars now going to the pit lane. Mazepin, Tsunoda, pretty much all the second parts of the teams. So Verstappen less than a second behind me already. He's literally just cut down 4 seconds in a lap, if that. It's absolutely insane how slow I am right now. And look at that, he's on the back of us already here. I'm not going to let him pass me just yet. I want to stay ahead on the next straight as well. Ultimately, I am one stopping and I want to try and fight everyone, so I don't want to make things super easy. But realistically, I think Max will get by ASAP. I think we've got enough though to stay ahead on this straight. The Dutch fans won't be happy about that, but I'm doing my own race here, guys. You can see how close Max is. That arrow, man, it's just super intense. Just got to keep it clean. Try and keep him behind us, at least for a couple more corners until we get to the pit straight. Then if Max gets the run, I'll let him go. Got a bit of DRS of my own to use as well, which is good for defensive purposes. But yeah, I'm just trying to eke everything out of these hard tyres, man, but there's just not a lot of pace there at all. Here goes Max, he's super close. Now we can let him go. And he can take the race in line as well for good measure, which helps us out. We lose no time and we get free DRS, which is exactly what we want. And we'll get it for this straight and the next one. But no need to use any of my ERS, which is absolutely perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard the Tom97 train. My god, I am so slow. Ricciardo and Leclerc queuing up behind me to try and get past. I'm struggling for grip so much. Here goes Ricciardo. And Leclerc won't be too far behind, and neither will Norris. We'll let Leclerc go by. Lando having a bit of a look up the inside. Bit aggressive there from Lando, but listen, go on fellas, do your own race. I'm trying not to lose too much time here. Let's try and stick with these guys. Esteban Ocon pits for Alpine. He switches to, I think, another set of mediums, if I'm not mistaken, so he's 2 stopping. Medium, soft for Ocon by the looks of it. Ooh, and Lando pits. So does Lance Stroll.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Sebastian Vettel in the pits now. Sainz looking for the move. I'm just draining my battery here to try and stay ahead, which we do. Now if Carlos wants to pass me, I'll let him go, but got a yellow flag in the middle sector, so I'm going to push here. I'm going to keep my battery activated. Latifi out.
Information on Latifi, they are out of the race.
Oh my god, that's a bit of a late one. Sainz with the dive up the inside. Looks like we're not going to get a safety car though, or a virtual safety car. Here comes Carlos. We'll let him just take the inside line. I'm not going to fight. It's a pointless battle, but I'm trying not to lose too much time. I am meant to pit this lap, but I'm going to stretch by a couple more. I want to pit on lap 20. I'd rather just squeeze a bit more performance out of these tyres. I've still got a bit of pace left in these, and I've got a bit of DRS to use, and I'm also able to stick with Sainz and stay within his DRS, so as long as I can do that, I'm willing to just stay out a bit longer here. So let's start using the battery a bit. We've dropped out of DRS range then of Sainz, and here comes Sebastian Vettel straight away. Alonso not too far behind, but we're going to pit this lap. Alonso and Vettel on fresh mediums. Let's lock that in.
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
I thought about going for the rear overtake, but it's pointless. May as well just try and follow Seb, to be honest. I think we've had a pretty good stint. I'm curious to see where we rejoin and then what kind of pace we have on those fresh mediums. I think points are going to be tough though. Okay, so this pit entry could cause some issues. There might be some tears. I'm going to try and push as much as I can without obstructing the track too much. Alonso catching the brunt of that. Into the pit lane we go. Great entry. Absolutely spot on that. So we're down to P13. Doing our one and only stop in this race. Let's see what happens. This needs to be a good stop though. 1.9 please. Oh,
Go, go, go.
2.8. It's a slow one.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
We rejoin in P18, so we're quite a way down. We get DRS, which is nice, so we get up to speed straight away. So let's try and keep Perez in our eyesight. Fresh mediums going to the end now. Let's give it everything we got. Oh, that's a bit too much actually. I've given it a bit too much there. Just gonna try and drive back onto the track there, but anyway, let's try and push. We need to try and use these laps and use while the tyres fresh in case anybody has to stop again. This is the crucial phase of the race now. Currently on for a personal best and now within DRS range of George. Let's see if we can pass him out of turn 1 up towards turn 3. That would be the ideal spot, to be honest. Mazepin in the pit lane as well, as we set a new personal best, 1 minute 4.8. Oh, that curve to completely unsettle the car there, but let's pass George here. Don't want to drain my entire battery, but I want to get this one done ASAP, so I don't want to waste any time. On the brakes we go. On the outside. Perfect. Giving him a bit of a pinch into the apex. Job done. Perez next up, who's battling with my teammate Lundgaard. And I think Lundgaard's peeling off into the pit lane. It's going to cost Perez a little bit of time. I'm not saying when I pass Perez I'll keep up with him, but he's staying in my eyesight.
Christian is coming in for his stop.
Lundgaard in, and so is Pierre Gasly, another personal best, 1 minute 4.4. We're now up to P14. We're climbing places, slowly but surely. A couple more cars in the pits. Tsunoda, Sainz. It's going to be close, but I think we should still be ahead. Crucially, they're on fresh mediums, so I thought they'd be on softs. That is great for me to see. I should be able to hold my own a little bit. P12 now. Oh wow, Sainz is... He completely just sprung up on me there. He got incredible drive through the final corner and just drove past me, to be honest. It was pretty easy. So I completely underestimated fresh medium grip for Sainz. Let's try and stick with him though. Let's try and use the DRS and see if I can just use Sainz as a way to get forward in this race. Got one of the Alpines in the pits. That's Fernando Alonso. He'll probably pass us, I think, on fresh softs. It'll be hard to keep behind, but we're back to P12 for now. Sainz has dropped us completely. He's way too fast. We've got Perez and Norris battling for the final point up ahead. Okay, Ocon's in the pits as well, so that's going to give us P11. I think we're going to be very close, but not close enough today. I think we've just not had enough pace. I think the Alpines and softs will probably re-overtake us, to be honest. Tsunoda and Alonso behind, battling. I'm going to try and use that to my advantage, but I don't think it's going to last. I think Alonso on soft is going to be so hard to keep behind, so realistically I don't think P11 is achievable, but you never know. A couple of retirements would be nice in the top 10 to give me a chance to get some points today. Oh, here comes Alonso then. He's right on my gearbox. That AI always seem to get insane drive out of there. I'm going to let him take the racing line. I'd rather not defend and waste time, if that makes sense. So he can just do his own thing and I'll just try and follow him basically, but I don't think I've got the pace to keep up. I'm going to try and save a bit of ERS if I can while behind him and see if he can drag us to some points, but I'm not super convinced. Oh, here comes Yuki. He kind of surprised me there. He sprung up on me. He wasn't that fast on the straight and suddenly he had a lot of momentum. I'm going to try and see if I can get him back though. I want to finish ahead of him because he's on the same tyres as me, same strategy. So I want to try and beat Yuki if possible. Wait for the DRS and I'll try and get him on the run down to turn 4. Here we go. Got enough ERS left to try and go for this. Force him defensive. Up the inside anyways. Nice. Good move using the inside curb.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
Just to pick up a bit of rotation. Now he's battling with Ocon, so we get a bit of breathing space. That's a bit of a poor exit there. Ocon's going to get me here. I'm going to defend the inside and let him go to the left. We can just get DRS basically. But this is it now. I think realistically, pace-wise, we've got nothing else in the tank. Tsunoda is probably okay that I can keep him behind, but I don't know. I'm going to try and repass Ocon here, but watch the traction from him. Yeah, quite a lot of traction there, but I think we're close enough that I can re-challenge here with a bit of a bold move. Nope. Never mind. Here comes Tsunoda now. I'm going to give him the old cut across the nose. Second warning for track limits. I'm going to let Tsunoda pass me and I'll get him back on the last lap. I'd rather be behind and just follow basically than have to just drain my ERS defending.
You've been awarded a time penalty for that last incident.
What a horrible race. I don't know what it is, but I hate when that happens, when I let someone by, in this case Tsunoda, and they happen to just turn the engine up at the same time. It's just a massive coincidence. Had I known he was going to do that, I would have kept him behind, but oh well. Game over. Well, I'm glad this race is over. I can't wait to hopefully, you know, see setups improve and I can do better because I didn't enjoy the race one bit. So much potential for this track, but I just didn't have a good setup. So much understeer the whole race, and it's going to be P14 for us.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
There we go then, race results are in. Bottas picks up a first win of the season, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. Sebastian Vettel P2 for Aston Martin. What a drive. He went for the one stop and it worked out for him. And what a performance from P9 to P2. Lewis Hamilton P3 for Mercedes. So yeah, a Mercedes power 1, 2, 3. Verstappen P4 for Red Bull ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Leclerc and Sainz P6 and P7. Lance Stroll P8 ahead of Norris and Perez, who ran out the top 10. Outside of that, Fernando Alonso P11 for Alpine ahead of Ocon. So both of them missing out on the points. Tsunoda P13, we're finishing P14 ahead of our teammate Christian Lundgaard. Mazepin Russell, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Gasly and Schumacher ran out the top 21 with Latifi out of the race. We look at the driver standings, and after I believe 7 rounds now, we are P11. Leclerc has overtaken us here today, and Bottas up to second in the World Drivers' Championship. Hamilton though still out front with a 32-point cushion. In the Constructors, we are 8th right now, 6 points behind AlphaTauri. Ferrari start to pull away a little bit, and Mercedes dominant out front as always. So there you go, there's a lot for the race here at Austria. We're going to try and put some upgrades on and see if they arrive for the next race at Silverstone, I believe.
You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you?
Well, I think the expectations are higher. I think we didn't have a great race today, I will admit, but in general, how the season has gone so far, I think has been great, and that's credit to the entire team. We've worked so hard.
You had a close battle today, didn't you?
Yeah, it was actually. I really enjoyed it. I think in the end I just didn't have enough. Yuki just had a bit more pace, but listen, we're pushing and it's good fun, so I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate your time.
Well, after the race, it's going to be a 1-point swing to Yuki Tsunoda, and he takes a 2-point lead in the championship rivalry. So yeah, 2 races to go. We need a strong performance in the next one to try and fight back. In terms of acclaim though, we go up to level 6, so we increase our multiplier to 12%. Lundgaard gradually building up to level 8, and as a team we're almost at level 10, so we're very close now to putting on that extra car sponsor. In terms of cash, we're looking pretty decent. Interviews sorted out, so an extra 187,000, which is always welcome, and for once, for the first time in a while, no damage deductions, so we're going to get a full payout, which is great, and our total now just under $2 million. Well, here we are then, back in the office, and we have a personnel department event. Before we do, we're going to assign activities and get those locked in. So first and foremost, second driver performance review. We're going to go for that. It gives Lundgaard a bit more of focus, which is really good for us, and you know, that's exactly what he needs to feel happy, you know, feel comfortable in the team. Besides that, we're going to look elsewhere, and I feel like sponsor advertisement could be big. It's going to give us some good team acclaim and some cash, so it's a win-win for us. Elsewhere, another sponsor event, more team acclaim, so we're going to get that on straight away. And then 3 days left, so we're going to go ahead and do one of these team kind of upgrades. Now, I think chassis equipment upgrade is great for us. That's going to work quite well because we need to work on that part of the car greatly. So with that said though, we're going to do some upgrades as well. And we're looking at the aerodynamics. We've got the barge boards there, which we can do small little discount on those. We've got the tertiary wing flaps, which don't have a discount on right now. The rear wing upper flap. Now in the chassis, we do have the engine cover, but I believe, yeah, the department capacity has been reached. So not ideal. Can we do anything on the engine? Okay, yeah, we look at this. We've got the reshaped combustion chamber, 66% off. Let's do that on the car straight away. That's going to be very cheap. And I think that's all we can do. So we may as well do this one here. 7% discount. That's not a lot, but still it's barge board upgrade. So we'll go ahead and get that on. And it's going to add to our current allocation. We're going to keep the 1,000 points that we have. We'll spend those in the next episode. But right now we've got 4 upgrades on the way, and they should all help us close the gap to AlphaTauri. So now we can move into the event. MXF Magazine wants to do a piece on Lundgaard, focusing on an F1 driver's training regimen, their daily fitness routines, that kind of thing. A bit of publicity would be good for them, but obviously time spent doing that is time away from their development. So, do we agree or decline? It'd be 1,000 on the acclaim for Lundgaard, which is massive, but his experience would go down by 7, which is quite a hit, to be honest with you. But acclaim, man, it's so important right now. We need that acclaim, so I'm going to agree.
Thanks. I know these kinds of decisions can be challenging, but I think you made the right call.
I hope so too. You know, I think I have done the right decision. We need to build up that acclaim, so let's skip all the way now to the next race at Silverstone, and let's hope everything goes smoothly. Here we are then, everything done, everything looking good, and we're not quite level 10 acclaim, but we're pretty close. The next race is Silverstone. It's the home Grand Prix, my home race, and for that one we're going to be debuting our new livery for the rest of the season, guys. Hopefully you're excited for that. If you enjoyed this episode and watched me suffer a little bit, then feel free to leave a like, subscribe for more content like this, guys. More daily F1 content on the channel coming very soon. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen if you have missed them and you haven't done so already. Give them a watch because they're pretty decent content, and I am enjoying F1 2021 quite a bit at the moment. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.